We're going to be talking about the substrate for African fat-tailed geckos. First thing about the substrate is I would recommend getting some paper towels, especially if you're new, if you're a beginner, you got a baby reptile, or if it's just, again, your first one. Get some paper towels. They're nice and easy. Your gecko will like them. They can't eat them. They can't digest them, so you don't have to worry about any kind of impaction. The other thing that's good about them is that they're disposable and they're cheap. You could throw them out and you don't have to worry about it, whereas a reptile carpet, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about, a little bit more expensive. Paper towels are good. You can put them in the corner wherever the gecko goes to the bathroom, and you can remove the waste real easy. Just pull out the paper towel. Job's done. You don't have to keep buying reptile carpets. So just identify where your gecko goes to the bathroom, and they should stick to that same spot consistently for the rest of, as long as you don't change up the terrarium layout, they should still go that same spot. If you do want to get something a little bit more classier, looks a little bit better in the terrarium other than paper towels, I would get a reptile carpet. This one is made by Zilla. They make some good stuff. Zoomed is also a good brand to look for, but as you can see, this is good for any of these reptiles. They come in green, and I've also seen them in brown, so that's really up to you. And they also have specific sizes for each terrarium, so they will have specific terrarium sizes. So basically they'll have a 10-gallon, 20-gallon, 40-gallon, and etc. So make sure you pick the right one for your terrarium. You don't want to get one that's too big, because then you got to cut it up and stuff, and it's kind of a hassle. The next thing about substrate is that you always want to keep your geckos on stuff that they can't digest. That's why paper towels and the carpet's good. But I do know a lot of people like that more natural and real, wild look to have their gecko in a terrarium. As you can see, mine's pretty basic. I got a lot of rocks in there. She can climb up on a lot. I'll give you guys a closer look. She's got a little hot hide box, and then you see the humid hide box isn't probably in the best spot right now. I probably need to move that over a little bit, but I just kind of like how it looks, and she enjoys the layout right now. You can see that she likes that big rock. She'll sit up on top of that rock and hang out, and then have that little Ziploc baggie case. I just put that in a couple of days ago just to see if she liked it. It's also nice because it's kind of fun to take that out, and when I'm handling her, it makes it a lot easier to handle her. So if you are new to handling any kind of gecko or reptile, definitely make sure that you have something like a coffee table or a big box or some kind of chopping board, something that if you drop your gecko or they get away from you, they're going to land on that, and you can easily pick that object up and make sure that your gecko doesn't escape. Paper towel, you can do the same thing. I used to do that. I used to have paper towel and let her just crawl around on the paper towel while I held it in my hands. That's a good thing to do. The other thing, getting back to the more naturalistic look, is this right here. It's terrarium moss, also made by Zilla. Again, really good brand. It's cheap, it's pretty cheap, probably about $8 for a big bag like this, and it'll last you forever, really. It's good for getting the moisture and the humidity up, and again, just makes that natural habitat for your gecko. This stuff's really good. It's all natural. If they do ingest it, I'm pretty sure that it's not as big of a deal as most other substrates. So terrarium moss is good, but again, that's really only to get the humidity up, and that's not going to go over your entire substrate. So paper towels, reptile carpet. Avoid sand. I would not use sand. Do not use sand. Again, do not use sand. Your gecko will eat the sand. It will get impacted. They won't do it on purpose, but whenever they stick their tongue out, they're gauging the temperature, the air temperature. So whenever you see your gecko stick out its tongue, it's testing to see how hot or cold, how humid, etc. the environment is. And they do that naturally. It's kind of like blinking or breathing for us. We don't think about it, we just do it. So what happens is they'll do it, and then sand will get stuck on their tongue. It'll get into their system, and they can't digest it, and it'll just sit there. And over time, they'll just keep doing it, and it'll just pile up, and you can really get a really sick gecko. And it's not a good experience. It can cost you a lot of money in vet bills. So avoid anything that they can eat. The final thing I would say as far as the substrate and kind of managing your terrarium is make sure you got good water. You can see I have a pretty big water dish for her, so make sure that you're changing that out daily. You got the right amount, and also make sure that the water dish is not too big or too small for your gecko. Make sure they can't climb into it and drown. Make sure they can climb into it and get back out of it if they do fall in. And then make sure it's big enough. You know, a lot of smaller geckos, my advice would be to use like a Gatorade bottle cap or like a water bottle cap or something like that. But sometimes it's hard for them to find that, and they like the larger body of water. And then the other good thing about using a larger water dish is it gets the humidity up in the terrarium. If you guys got any questions, I got more videos up. Check them out. To answer one thing on my lighting video, you can see here's my fixture. I got a 100-watt red bulb. This is about $30 at Pet Shop. This is the first one I've ever bought, and it's lasted me a good amount of time. So the fixtures are good. You do have to make sure that you're on top of it with the light bulbs, always changing those out, stuff like that. Post your comments, ask questions. I'll do my best to get back to you. Check out the videos, guys.